Barcelona is a beautiful, vibrant city, full of life, culture, and creativity. But it's also one of the world's most attractive startup ecosystems. Companies like Globo, Typeform, and Travelperk were all founded in the city, and Barcelona often ranks among the top 5 European startup hubs. But what exactly explains this popularity, and what can a founder expect from the Barcelona startup ecosystem? Well, TNW is here in Barcelona to talk to local and international founders to find out. So I've been in Barcelona for almost 20 years, and I've seen the city grow, and I have seen different industries, exploded.
Barcelona is probably one of the most powerful brands I've ever met.
Companies come to Barcelona because of the glamour and the allure, but because there's also a specific place where you can start up, and it's got already that ecosystem of entrepreneurship in place, which is really helpful.
Every part of the city has its own character. Down here by the port in Barcelona Tech City, it's very wide, open streets. In the Gothic area, it's narrow, dark, winding streets, Roman architecture and stuff. So that really gives it a lot of character. So it really is a city that draws you in.
Almost 10 years ago, I founded the first kind of large-scale co-working community here in Barcelona called Makers of Barcelona, and I fell in love with entrepreneurship. So from there on, I just kept starting new companies. The next one was Fab Cafe, and then another one was a boot camp for women. And more and more, I've noticed that in the city, there are more and more resources, more and more experiences, more and more mentors. The ecosystem of entrepreneurship started to build up.
For a first-time founder, I think Barcelona is a wonderful city. You have a very strong ecosystem, which means that it's going to be competitive as well, but that is something positive because you're going to have a lot of movement, you're going to have a lot of talent, you're going to have reference, you're going to have support for institutions from hubs, from a lot of things. So it's really a very mature ecosystem that it's perfect for landing.
And Barcelona stands very strong. It's the strongest investment hub in terms of the Spanish investment, which accounts for about 2 billion euros. Our fund has invested in 35 different, very young, very early stage startups. But we see that Barcelona, very closely followed by Madrid, and then also the other regions have continued to grow over the last year.
The ecosystem in Barcelona has changed a lot over the last 6 years, I would say. So we've seen it really develop from being very nascent to something a little bit more established. And I think from that perspective, it becomes a hub for talent. Now also post-COVID, we think that's probably going to accelerate because eventually talent, they go after, they want to have a social life, they want to be based in a pleasant location, they want to enjoy culture, and also they want to have access to the right type of opportunities. And we think that eventually that is something we can offer as a company from Barcelona.
I think one of the main positive strengths of the city is the diversity. It's not very centered around one specific industry. Typically, the travel tech has been very strong here because of the location. You have eDreams, you have hotel beds, you have the travel perks. You have also the gaming industry, which is very strong. It also has some of the big business schools and a very dynamic ecosystem. So there's some of the great companies that have been founded here, or some of the other companies like the Airbnbs, Facebooks, and so on, who have installed their headquarters in the city. So that by itself makes it a very dynamic city, creates a lot of opportunity, creates a lot of schools for new young entrepreneurs who see that example and want to follow it.
Barcelona is the best place to start the digital health innovation since the network in life science is huge. We have also big biotech companies that are born here, are also investors that are based here in Barcelona. So since we started as a company, we have been working with Barcelona Tech City and Axio. For us, they have been a big partners because thanks to them, we have been in touch and also closing deals with international companies.
And then we have access to all the hospitals, reference hospitals, that they have this innovation DNA. And they are keen to and open to run clinical trials and to introduce these first prototypes of a startup.
I started a plant in the pandemic, which was quite challenging. My network was already pretty big in Barcelona, but mostly internationally. But what I saw during this phase of development was the amount of interaction and networking just increased exponentially, even despite the pandemic, right? So using LinkedIn, using WhatsApp, using online events, which was the only thing that was taking place, that was really, really helpful.
The networking scene here is really welcoming. It doesn't really matter where you're from, you're going to find an event that's for you. Here in Barcelona, you've got events in Spanish, in Catalan, in English, and you can pick and choose.
I'm a really big fan on engineer serendipity, meaning, meeting someone at the water cooler and discover that it's the founder of, a really big company. And, that kind of connections is really, really hard to foster.
Through one of my network involved in the textile space, we saw there was a program for innovation in textile. And it's giving us the tools to basically develop a product for ourselves from zero to a product in like a matter of 3-4 months, which is really, really incredible.
Big events like Mobile World Congress, the Startup Branch, which is 4 years from now, Smart City Expo, ISE, all come to Barcelona, and they're always fascinating to go and explore. So it also introduces people from the outside to Barcelona, and I really believe that brings people here as well, and they think, well, this is actually a great place for our company as well.
So we have a very successful ecosystem, and it's time now to think further. And so we need now to expand not only Barcelona, not only a specific place in the city, but I would say to all Catalonia.
I think we need to be able to challenge the status quo, not just protect what is already available, but be able to embrace the new business models that are out there and that are willing to shine. And that could be actually become a driver for the city to continue to grow.
I have to say, being a founder, a foreign founder in Barcelona hasn't exactly been easy, because there's still a lack of funding, for example. And bureaucracies here is still a little kind of clunky in terms of getting entrepreneurs up and running. But I think coming out, I still think that it's favorable. One of the reasons why I continue finding companies and being the founder of company is precisely because the foundation is there.
So if I was to give advice to a first-time founder in Barcelona, I guess the first thing would be go online, look at accelerator programs. There's a lot of help, for example, for organizations like Barcelona Activa.
The first thing I would do, if you're setting it up here in the city, is contract something called a gestor, which is a business manager. They're going to take care of all the paperwork for you. They're going to make sure your account's in order, that you're paying your taxes, that you're like following the law with your employees and everything.
There are many opportunities for entrepreneurs to talk to each other. So I guess talk to other people in a similar situation, which is actually what I did early on as well.
Get in on the networking scene, meet as many people as you can. That's offline in the real world, but also online as well, because there are lots of groups here.
And give it a go, because your chances are very high, I think, at least of getting going.